Fluent, period. What if I told you that the real reason you forget everything you read in English is not because your memory is weak, but because you're reading like everyone else? Think about this. You spend hours reading books, watching videos, learning vocabulary. You feel productive. You feel like you're improving. But then a few days later, try to explain what you learned. Nothing comes out. Your mind goes blank. And in that moment, a dangerous thought appears. Maybe I'm just bad at this. But what if that thought is completely wrong? What if the problem is not your brain, but your system? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to discover why some people can read thousands of books and still remember powerful ideas, while others read the same amount and forget almost everything. And more importantly, how you can change that starting today. Let me ask you something simple. If I gave you a book you read last year, how many ideas could you explain right now? 5? 3? Even 1? Be honest. Because this is where reality hits. Most people don't remember. Not because they didn't read, but because they didn't retain. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Reading without remembering is almost useless. Yes, useless. Because information only becomes powerful when you can use it. So now the real question is, why do we forget so much? Let's break this down. Your brain is not a storage machine. It's a filter. Every single day, it receives an insane amount of information. Words, images, sounds, conversations. And it has one job: decide what stays and what goes. And guess what? Most of what you read goes fast because your brain asks one simple question. Will I need this? If the answer is no, delete. That's it. No drama. No warning. Just gone. So when you read something passively, without interacting, without using it, your brain says, this is not important, and it disappears. Now here's where things get interesting. There are people who read thousands of books and somehow remember powerful ideas from all of them. It almost feels like a superpower, but it's not. It's a system. And once you understand that system, you can use it too. Let's talk about what these people do differently. They don't just read. They engage. Deeply. Actively. Intentionally. Imagine 2 scenarios. In the first one, you read a book quickly. You highlight a few sentences. You feel good. You finish the book. And then, you move on. In the second one, you read slower. You stop when something is interesting. You write notes. You ask questions. You connect ideas to your life. You create something from what you read. Which one do you think leads to better memory? Exactly. Because memory is not created by exposure. It's created by interaction. Let me say that again. Memory is not created by exposure. It's created by interaction. And this is where most English learners fail. They expose themselves to the language, but they don't interact with it. They watch videos. They read texts. They listen to podcasts. But they don't stop. They don't think. They don't use. So nothing stays. But when you interact, everything changes. Let me show you a powerful method you can start using today. Step 1. Capture. When you read something in English, don't try to remember everything. That's impossible. Instead, look for what stands out. A sentence, a word, an idea, something that makes you pause, something that makes you feel something. And write it down, because the moment you choose something, you tell your brain, this matters. Step 2. Transform. This is the step most people skip, and it's the most important one. Don't just copy what you read. Change it. Make it yours. For example, if you read, courage is acting despite fear, don't just write it. Write something like, I need courage to speak English even when I feel nervous. Now the idea is personal. It's real. It's alive. And your brain loves that because your brain remembers what is connected to you. Step 3. Store. Now you organize your ideas, not in a random way, but in categories, themes, topics. Why? Because your brain loves structure. When information is organized, it becomes easier to find later. It's like creating a map inside your mind. And over time, this becomes something even more powerful. A second brain, a place where your ideas live, where your learning grows, where your knowledge becomes accessible. Now here's something important. This process is slow. Yes, slow. And that's exactly why it works. because fast learning feels good, but slow learning stays. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to read very fast just to finish a book? How much did you remember? Exactly. Now, compare that to a moment where you read something slowly and really understood it. Which one stayed longer? This is why speed is often a trap, because it gives you the illusion of progress without real results. And if you've been learning English like this, that's why you feel stuck. But once you change this approach, everything shifts, because now every word has weight, every idea has meaning, every piece of content becomes useful. Now, let's make this practical. Here's a simple routine you can follow. Every day, spend 10 to 15 minutes with English content. A video, an article, a short text. Then, pick 2 ideas. Not 10, not 20, just 2. Write them down. Transform them into your own sentences and review them the next day. That's it. Simple, but powerful, because consistency beats intensity. Always. Now let's talk about something most people don't want to hear. You cannot remember everything, and that's okay. You don't need to, because learning is not about storing everything in your head. It's about building understanding over time. And sometimes, the act of engaging is more important than the result. Because when you write, when you think, when you connect ideas, you're training your brain. You're becoming sharper, stronger, more aware. So even if you forget some details, you keep the transformation. And that's what really matters. Now, if you've made it this far, you're not like most people, because most people don't go deep. They just consume and move on. But you're learning how to learn. And that's a different level. So, if you want to keep improving your English in a way that actually works, make sure you subscribe to Fluent, period. Because here, we don't just teach English. We teach you how to think in English, how to remember naturally, and how to finally break that cycle of learning and forgetting. Now, let's finish with something simple, but powerful. You don't remember things by accident. You remember things by design. So, the next time you read something in English, don't ask, how can I finish this? Ask, how can I use this? Because that one question can turn information into transformation. And when that happens, you're not just learning English anymore. You're becoming someone who actually remembers it.